Yeah. Okay. So, hello, everyone. And hello, Rachel. I'm glad to have you here. And I just want to say a few words to introduce you a bit. So, Rachel Furman has a RPH, has a master's degree in spiritual psychology. She's a soul-centered, inside-out wisdom coach, an international speaker, an artist, and an author. She helps her clients from all around the globe to get an understanding of the human mind and to enjoy life, even though terrible things such as abuse might have happened. Rachel is bringing hope and new perspective to the world. She's such a strong, powerful, and positive woman and will impact you just by being herself. I'm delighted to having her on this summit. So again, hello and a warm welcome, Rachel Furman.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure and an honor, really.
It's an honor to having you. So, yeah. So I thought, let's just start about talking about the work you are doing. So, you work with traumatized, mostly women, as I mentioned, and they've gone through their kind of personal hell, and they might have been health challenges, loss, harassment, abuse. So, what people call big T trauma, and and so your aim is to reduce suffering. And that's, I think, where most people still think that's impossible. So when such a big incident happens, then it's impossible to feel better because of what happened. And I'm curious to hear what's your take on that.
Well, I actually am working to eliminate suffering, not just to reduce it. I want to let people know that suffering is optional. You really do not need to suffer. Yes, there are challenges in life. Yes, we don't necessarily like some stuff that we are going through or went through. And there's pain, there's loss. I don't minimize it. Yet suffering is something that we do between our ears. It's when we start fighting with the facts, when we start arguing, and we think it should have been different, it could have been different, why me? All those thoughts are causing suffering. And what I work with my clients is show them that all we have is now. And I bring them to the present. And I show them how in the present all is well. In the present, everything is always well. And it really doesn't matter why it happened, how it happened, when it happened. It really, really doesn't matter. Because we all have stories, we all have things we went through, more or less, but every human being through our lives. And if it's not us, then we have what I call second degree, that it was intergenerational, and we're triggered by that. I'm a child of Holocaust survivors, so I have intergenerational trauma. I grew up with a mother that screamed at night. I grew up with extreme fear and extreme trauma from my parents. I grew up in Israel, and I was born in 1956 into a war, and from that point on, there were war after war after war, and now there's still war. And so the offender or the offensive forces, they change, but they don't end. That's part of this world. And yet, we are okay no matter what. And that is something that is so comforting, to know that we are not broken. We never were broken. We are always whole. We are always cared for. And we always know what to do in the moment. This understanding, these three principles of understanding, literally saved my life. I'm actually alive because of this understanding. And I have the best life ever. I just came back from yet another trip, and I'm about to go to another trip, and that's why we had to delay this interview so much, because that's my traveling season. And you would say, well, okay, so what? Well, so what is that I'm dealing with stage 4 cancer for the last 6 years. I'm also living with a colostomy bag. I'm, in between treatments. I wake up in the middle of the night with neuropathy. And life goes on. Life is beautiful. Life is great. I'm happy and joyful and joyous. And I really want people to have that. I really want anybody and everybody to be able to enjoy life.
I think, and from my experience, and I noticed it myself, it might be a stretch to be in a situation that feels challenging and that yet you try to get out of for, I don't know, a decade or whatsoever. And then you're coming and saying suffering is optional. So it's just, you didn't say it's just your thinking, but it's optional at least. And do you see your clients having a problem with this, or start arguing, what's she talking about? She doesn't know me. If she knew my situation, she wouldn't say this, or something like that?
So, of course, I feel the client, and I'm not always as direct as I was in this opening talk. And we get there. There's a way for me to show them the way they're thinking. I show them what they're doing to themselves. Me telling you, it's just your thinking, or me calling you, you foolish little thing, what are you doing? That doesn't work. That does not work. And that will cause, when you are opposing something, it will cause opposition, of course. But when we talk and I can show someone that they are moving from a state of suffering to a state of joy, and they have it available, both of them is available to them, and it's literally a choice. They can choose if they want to, if it makes them feel good. And some people, and some, even me sometimes, I need to be in the poor me. 2 days ago, I was in the poor me, and it's funny because now I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, you're making your situation harder. And I could see that. I had neuropathy, and I was like, I can't take it anymore. I don't like it. And I'm like, Rach, what are you doing? This is going to be more painful, and it's going to linger, and it's going to be harder. And yet I wanted to go there. For a moment, I needed to go there and be in the poor me. That's totally okay, as long as I'm aware of what I'm doing. The thing is that most of us are not aware of the power that we have, the creative power that is ours to really create a beautiful, wonderful life. And we think that the outer circumstances are dictating what type of life we have. And, I live with the big C, cancer. And this thought of like, oh my God, you have cancer. That's it. You're doomed. It's the end of life. Well, actually, it started my life. It propelled me to have a wonderful, gorgeous, fulfilled life. And in a way, it's kind of like odd, but in a way, it was a blessing. Yeah, I would give it up. I would give it up. I would give up this whole experience. Well, what came out of it is just unbelievable. I mean, we met in London. I wouldn't go to London if not for the cancer. I wouldn't be there on stage speaking. I wouldn't meet you if not for cancer. I don't think so. I didn't have a good enough story. Yeah. I was just an ordinary person, and now I have a C on top of it, an extra C there.
Yeah, it's. I hope the people who will watch this will feel your joy and your energy, and you're just enjoying life, enjoying the small things, and not looking for, I don't know, big events that might happen every 20 years, if at all, but just loving every moment. And so you're such a great example of how to do this and how to live in the moment. And what I heard you just saying is that your life kind of really became better since this diagnosis.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I had to let go of so much bullshit, all kind of like things that didn't serve me, all kind of fears and all kind of thoughts, of all kinds of emotions, all kind of baggage that I was carrying that was standing in my way. And, upsets, and realizing I cannot get upset because it's not healthy for me. I would get upset about anything and everything would irritate me. I'm very, very picky and very judgmental, and I see things, and I really see minute things, and I really pay attention to little details, and things annoy me. And I would get annoyed by little things. And I learned that I can't do that. I need to let go, because that is not healthy for me. And life became more beautiful. I opened up. I opened up to love. I opened up to relationships. I opened up to receiving. I opened up to giving. I'm still in the process. I'm not perfect yet. I'm still working on it. I definitely changed. It changed me for the better.
And your, let's say your diagnosis had some treatments you're going through, and you might experience side effects. And I'm guessing some of the stuff you're doing doesn't feel comfortable at all, to put it nicely. and you're still saying, life is good, I enjoy everything.
Yes,
how do you do that? A recipe, please.
I don't know how I do it, honestly. I think that my understanding of life changed so much that I see things from a different perspective. And so every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how my body is reacting and how, if I travel or not, I go on Thursday mornings. I'm at 7 o'clock already in the hospital, which means that I get up at 5:40 in the morning, and 6:15 I'm in the car driving, because it's Los Angeles, and you never know with traffic. And I stand in line and wait till, 7 o'clock till it opens. And then they take, they draw my blood, and then I go and see my doctor, which usually is an unpleasant event. And I'll talk about it in a second. And then I go and wait, about an hour, and then they call me into the day hospital, and either I get a bed, which is, a really great thing because I get a little private room, or I get into a chair, which is less comfortable, and there's a curtain, and there's like 10 or 20 other chairs in that room, and it's noisy, and it takes about 4 to 5 hours, and then I end up with a pump that I go home for another 46 hours. And of course, I can't take a shower, and I don't drive, I don't do stuff. And I'm feeling fairly okay while I'm there. And then when the pump comes out on Saturdays, I usually am very, very tired for a couple of days, and then, and then my stomach is in shambles. And by Monday, Tuesday, I start feeling better. And by Wednesday, I'm about back to myself. So I have about a week of almost being myself till, it goes again. And most people that go to something like that, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so heavy, and this is so, oh my God, and now in treatment, and oh. And for me, I go there and I meet the nurses that, I've been there for now about 6 years. I know most of the nurses. Once in a while, there's a new nurse. We hug. It's like, where did you go now? Where are you going on your trips? What's going on? How is I ask them, how are the kids? How is the husband? How is their life? So we have like a little reunion. I take, my headphones, and I usually am, listening to 1 or 2 podcasts, or maybe I'm on a Zoom call. I make some phone calls, and I sleep if I can. I sleep as much as I can, and time flies, and that's great. And then when I'm home, I know that I'll be very talkative because of one of the side effects of the medication. So I make all my phone calls on Thursday and Friday. I make all my phone calls because I need to talk. And I tell people, I can't shut up. So tell me to shut up because I'm on medication and it's not going to happen. So if I'm talking too much, tell me. And if somebody wants to come and visit me, I'm home. I know that Friday I'm home. I'm like, you can come and visit me anytime. So I used it, to my advantage. And I would plan one outing on Saturday, and I would plan an outing on Sunday just to go back to life and have something fun to do. And I take into consideration that I need to rest, and I'm allowing myself to rest. And it's all good. It's like, okay, I'm doing a job. I need to go to work. I don't need to like it. I don't need to love it, but it's something I need to do. And that work is to maintain my house, which is my body. In order to maintain it, I need to do this. No question. There's no, there's no thinking about it. There's no feeling. Most of the time, it's just a matter of fact. It's just like the weather. Okay, it's raining, I'll take an umbrella. It's cold, I'll take a sweater. That's it. There's no, oh my God, I wish I could wear my sandals and it's raining outside. Okay, you want to think like that, fine. You can wear your sandals and get wet. Okay. No, it rains. I'm going to put, shoes or boots, and I'll take an umbrella. End of story. No argument. And, a lot of people are living for the treatments. That's it. That becomes their lives. And for me, this is a tool, just like food, like water. This is a tool that allows me to have a beautiful life. Because I'm in treatment, the cancer is at bay, and it's small enough to not create any problems. And I can just enjoy my life. Oh, well, then I'll keep on doing it and keep it small as long as it works and enjoy my life. I think it's a very good deal.
Yeah, sounds to me like that as well. Yeah, but it's let's say uncommon. So I would say most people start to argue about it. And on the one hand, that's totally understandable, because who wants to go through that? So if there was a crossroad and you can choose, do you want it? Do you not want it? I'm guessing most people would choose the way where you don't have to experience such things. But this crossroad doesn't appear, so we've got to deal with what's there. But yeah, I think it's so great to hear how you deal with it and how you learned how your body feels, and when you're okay to do this, and to kind of using it for your advantage even. So when you say you have to talk about the treatment after the treatment, then you just, okay, then I do my phone calls, because there I have an opportunity to talk. So, okay. And that's just, on the one hand, it's common sense. And on the other hand, in this situation, it's so uncommon, but I really like it. And it's, to me, it's still impressive. It's just, wow.
Thank you. Well, I'll say two things. First of all, as a retired pharmacist, when it started, I mean, my mindset was that I'm never going into chemo. I'm never taking, because I knew all the side effects of chemo. I'm like, no matter what, if I get cancer, I'm never going to get chemo. And there was a situation where I met with a surgeon because, there was a possibility of, having surgery. But the way the cancer was, it needed to shrink. And the only way to shrink it was through chemo. And he said, okay, if you want to stay alive, and you want surgery, to get the cancer out, then we'll need to do chemo. And of course I tried, and it didn't shrink enough to do the surgery. So, and I got stuck. So in a way, I was kind of like tricked into the chemo. And then, of course, I tried other things. I tried alternatives. I went to Mexico. I tried all kinds of things. And I still have, I'm still using supplements and energy work. And, it's not just the chemo. It's not just the Western medicine that I'm using. And when you look at things, as a tool, when you look at something as, a tool that can aid you, and when you use it correctly, I negotiate the dosage very much, and the spacing between treatments, because I do listen to the body. And so when I feel that it's too much, I tell them to go down lower, because I'm sensitive, and they listen to me and they work with me. And maybe the cloud is because I'm, maybe the cloud is because I'm a retired pharmacist, maybe because I'm very strong and opinionated, that I'm like, no, you're gonna do that. I don't care what you think. You're gonna go as low because, this is how it's gonna be, because it's my body, and they know that. And it's interesting because my doctor is a German doctor, and we butt heads all the time. I mean, he declared me as the most difficult patient he ever had. The guy is in his 60s. He's been a doctor and a professor for many, many, many years. He teaches all over the world. And I'm proud to say that I'm the most difficult patient he ever had, okay? So, and my understanding is that he is a great doctor. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't know me and he doesn't know my body. I'm the one who knows me and knows my body. And this also taught me to keep on listening and listening deeper to the body. And what you said about, how I utilize the different phases of the after the treatment. This is called, what I kind of like termed as what is my zero. And this is something that I'm doing, and I've been doing, and I noticed that I've been doing, which is in every moment, I check with myself to see where I am. What am I capable of doing? What am I feeling? What do I need now? Now, most people would go and say, I could have, I should have, why can't I? Yesterday I could have, And for example, I used to be able to work 8 hours straight in my garden. I can barely work half an hour now. Well, does it mean that I shouldn't work in the garden because I can only work half an hour? No, it means that I'm going to enjoy that half hour. And the thinking of like, oh, I one time I was very able to work that it's not relevant now. It only makes me feel bad. What's the point? It's not happening now. What is happening now? So what is happening now? And from that point, like, what else is possible? And I keep on asking myself all the time, what else is possible? And when I ask myself what else is possible, things show up.
Yeah, and you are able to recognize them because you ask and you're looking into the direction of what's possible and not, oh, let's look at what I can't do. I already see it, I know it, I feel it, but let's look there anyway.
Beautifully said, exactly. Because and it's exactly that. Do I look into the light or do I look into the dark? And I choose to look into the light. I'm a painter, and my favorite, one of my favorite painters are Rembrandt. And when you look at Rembrandt's paintings, it's mainly very, very, very dark. And yet when you look at it, there's always light that comes through, very strong. But the percentage of the light on the canvas, the bright colors on the canvas, is very, very minimal. Yet the picture jumps at you. And when you look at that, it's never white. It's usually yellowish. It's not even bright white. Yet it feels so bright. Now I can focus on all the darkness in the background, or I can look at the bright light and get mesmerized by that. And that's what I choose to do. And that is what I'm showing my clients, that they have a choice. It's not ignoring. I'm not like, no, there's nothing, I'm fine, I don't have anything. No. Everything is there. The dark is there. The side effects are there. The struggle are there. The colostomy bag is there, that I need to be constantly worried. Not worried, but aware of, like, is it leaking? Do I need to change it? And sometimes it's twice a day. And sometimes, when I was on a trip in Romania, it was in the middle of like going into a restaurant, going to the bathroom, and boom. Now I need to change in a bathroom on the road. Unpleasant. But what do I think? I was like, I have all the supplies. Thank God it didn't mess up all my clothes, and I caught it in time. And look at me. I can do it even in a small bathroom on the road. Not pleasant. I didn't like it. Oh well. That didn't prevent me from going on a trip with other people. Something like that would not let them get out of the house just in case, oh my God, what is going to happen? No. When it's going to happen, I'll know what to do with it. And I laugh at myself, and I tell people, like, I'm like a baby. I go with my diapers. I have a little bag with all my supplies. I have a water bottle and a bag of my supplies. I don't leave the house. I don't go anywhere without that. That's my reality. Oh, well, okay. I don't leave my house without my glasses or my contact lenses because I won't see anything, right? Isn't it?
And you're wearing clothes because I'm guessing you want to wear clothes when you're going outside. So that's a choice. Yeah.
Your shoes, you're not going to go out without wearing your shoes. Oh, well, this is what I have, an extra little layer of things that I need to do. Is that going to determine who I am and what I'm capable of? What I can and cannot do? Most people let that determine it. No.
It depends on what's going on here. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's so interesting. When I heard you talking, I thought, wow, there are people who have a pimple on their nose and said, okay, I can't go outside because everyone's watching. So it's impossible. And it feels impossible for them, and they just stay at home because that's common sense. And just to see, yes, we can do it this way, and we can live our lives the way you live your life. And that's just so liberating. And while you were talking, I just heard someone in the call talk about the best spiritual mantra, and it's so what? And that came to mind while you are talking. So, okay, if this happens, so what? Yeah. Okay. And that's really special. So I heard you at the 3P UK conference. I heard your speech, and I was sitting there like this, and wow, I was really beyond words. I was just, yeah, I still don't find words for it. And I remember that you described how you went there and that you wanted to go somewhere and weren't sure if you can go there, and then you just started, and then later on there was a chat with a lady from the audience, and she said, wow, I thought I struggled to come here. And I think she came from Ukraine, and everyone would have said, oh, you're from Ukraine. Yeah, of course. It's exhausting to travel. And yeah, and she really was blown away by your story, and it was just, you could see or hear it, how she was impacted by your story. And that and I felt that way too. So because of that,
well, the story was, so people know what the story is. The story was that, in the morning, the conference started on Sunday, and on Saturday I gave myself a day to see London. and I went to the National Gallery, and then I had a hair appointment, and I looked at the GPS, and it told me that it's about half an hour walk, and I didn't know if I can walk for half an hour. What else was happening is that there was a Pride event, and the streets right around the museum were full with people. So I knew that I couldn't call an Uber to the museum because there's no way that any car could come by. So I need to walk at least 10 minutes. I had about an hour and a half, from the time I ended up in the museum till my appointment. And I said to myself, why don't you start and you see, and walk as much as you can. And that's the what else is possible. What else is possible? What is possible? So I walked, and and I sat for a little, I walked for about 10 minutes, and I sat, and then I walked a little bit longer. And I met a beautiful family next to a flower shop. They took pictures. There was like an arch was full of flowers, and the mother took pictures of the kids, of the girls. And I said, "Would you like me to take your picture?" And I took that picture, and they thanked me. And then I kept on walking, and then I found a coffee shop. I'm like, okay, I'll walk 5 or 6 more minutes, and then I'm going to have another 15 minutes to walk. Let's look for a coffee shop. So I looked for a coffee shop, and I went and I had tiramisu, and I had coffee. And then I had 15 more minutes to walk. I'm like, and I had another 45 more minutes till my appointment. I'm like, okay, let's keep on going. And then there was another group of girls that wanted their photos, and I took their photos, and I sat for another 5 minutes, and I ended up coming about 20 minutes or 30 minutes earlier to ended up with the half hour within an hour, and I felt accomplished. I felt really good, because I did the walk. But I didn't do the walk as like, oh my God, I need to, there was always this, I can at any point stop and call an Uber. At any point I can call a taxi or an Uber. So that was plan B. It was always there. And then I wanted to see, what can I do? What am I capable of? Because we don't know what we're capable of. And we are so much more capable than we give ourselves credit for. We're way, way, way more capable. And anytime that I do that, anytime that I'm trying to see what else can I do, and I do it, it's like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. Wow, look at me, this is great. And now I know. Now, to add to the story, when I went to Romania, I went for a retreat, and part of the retreat was going into really cold water and dipping in cold water. And we needed to bring doctor's note, like a letter from the doctor that it's okay. And of course, I asked my doctor, and he said, I told him what it is all about. And he said, well, I don't think, that's what I wanted to know. It's like, I don't think it's going to hurt you. I said, oh, great. Well, then why don't you give me a letter? And he's like, I'm not going to give you a letter. No way. I don't know what it is. And then he goes, you and your crazy stuff. And I'm like, okay, me and my crazy stuff, I'm still around. So I meet with the guide that is, helping us do this, dipping. And I'm like, listen, I'm not going to argue with you. I want to do this. My doctor said that, that it can't hurt me. And I'm not going to do anything that I know knowingly that is going to hurt me. I really want to do it But if, if I don't have a letter and you think you don't want to do it, for your reasons, that's fine. But I just want you to know that I want to do it. And it's interesting because before I saw the doctor, I told the nurse, and that I'm gonna negotiate my way. And she's like, I like that. You're gonna. And so then I told her that I literally negotiated my way, And he said, let's see how it is. And so the first thing was we went to a spa, and we went to a pool outside that was about 14 degrees. And that wasn't a big deal. And then we went to a little creek in the forest, and that was 4 degrees. Running water.
I'm getting cold right now.
And I'm like, I want to do this. So I'm like, first of all, it says, put your hands on your feet. And it was just really painful. My hand, I'm like, I can't do it. Took off my clothes, and it took me in, and I went in, and I did it. And I was like, wow, look at me. Now, the next day, they said that they wanted to do it again. I'm like, okay, I got it. I'm staying in bed. You can go and do that. I did it once. I don't want to do it again. But here I am doing stuff. I had an experience. I enjoy. I mean, just the kick, the lively, the energy of liveliness that you get from trying things, from expanding yourself, from giving yourself the permission to really explore and do things that you've never done before. It fills you up. And so we had the build-up before, and we have the event. And how many times did I tell the story about the cold water and the whole thing with the doctor? And I'm reliving this good stuff, and this energy of like joy is keeping on percolating. And that's what I'm showing, clients. That's what I'm teaching clients. You, all of you, everybody, doesn't matter what you went through. This is available for you. It doesn't matter if you have chronic pain, if you have cancer, if you lost somebody, if you, or you're sexually abused, if you were traumatized by war. It really doesn't matter, because those things are not who you are. You're so much bigger and more capable. And life is magical.
Wow. As you were talking, it just reminded me of in the online space, or when you do online courses, the platforms these days all work with kind of gamification to keep the people interacting. And I just thought, oh, she's got her own gamification set up. That's her way of going through life. Just this gamification, and oh, let's see, and oh, let's try, and let's see, and oh, I did that, ding, 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 ding. So I get a reward for, or this feeling that I was capable of doing that is a kind of reward, and probably a dopamine kick, and I don't know what all the chemicals that are set free in the body, and that just helps you feel good. And wow, you've got your own gamification program running. How cool is that? And as you were describing that, you now that everything, when you talk about it, you're feeling that you're experiencing it. And when you're thinking about all the things you can't do, or how unfair life is, and then you're feeling that, and
Exactly.
but it doesn't feel it feels wool, so it just feels the opposite.
Exactly that. Exactly. And you get the choice.
Yeah.
The fun part is the freedom of choice. We get the choice to choose which experience of life do we want. We can choose it. When we are aware, when we understand, then we have the choice to really have this or this,
Yeah, we can choose every moment.
Exactly.
So it's not that, okay, now I've chosen this path and I have to go it unless whatever. But okay, when I notice I'm going the direction I don't want to go, then I can say, oh, okay, do I want to go this way any further? If I don't know, okay, I can think about or go the direction I want to. And this is so cool.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah, thank you. So I really hope the people who are listening get, and I would say if they get 2% of your positivity and power, then we're all good. So.
Well, I really, I really am thrilled that you're doing it, only because, I feel that this, what I have is available to everyone. And I really want people to have a good life. I want people to go dancing and singing and enjoying life and seeing the magic of life. And yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you. And is there anything that now comes to mind that you would like to add, or something you think, oh, that would be really important?
Well, I don't know how important it is, but, I just wanted to say, because people would, might say, oh, she's like, that's a character. This is how she is, she was born this way, And I want to say, no, as a child, I was a fearful child. I was shy. I didn't feel good about myself. And I didn't see much hope in anything. And even as an adult, I was very fear-based, nervous, anxious. And no, it's not my character, it's my understanding. And it's something that you can have too. It's not, it's not my DNA.
And that brings me to a short question. So when I remember it right, your doctor asked you to talk to other patients who are going to similar treatments and just feel terrible and hate it all the time. Yeah. And so you get in touch with them and kind of work with them, when I'm right. And maybe you can say if something changed for them. So if they were able to understand how they experience, or where the experience comes from, and
so this is
go
a
through
really
it differently.
This is a really good question, and it's a very tricky question, because you would think that if I talk to someone, and I'm good at what I'm doing, that they will change, or they will see things differently. Some do and some don't. And the secret is that you need to be open, ready, and willing. And if somebody is fed up with how they feel and are willing to experience and consider that there is other ways, then the shift is really, really quick. And sometimes it's a matter of a conversation of like not even an hour. And they come, with the face down, and they come and they go out smiling. And sometimes, no matter what you say and how good you are, there is nowhere where it lands, because people are so convinced that, they are victimized, they are victims, they are, their situation is different. What they're going through, nobody understands. And there's really nothing anybody can do for them. And the only thing I can do, and I do, is just allow them to be where they are.
Yeah.
You know,
and allow them to suffer. Yeah.
If that's what they need, if that's the experience that they need at this point, till something wakes them up, if something wakes them up. And for me, for many years, that was really, really hard. Because of course I took it personally, because something with me is wrong. But how can I can't make it, I can change them. I want so much to heal the world, to get to the point of to respect where people are and to allow them that choice, that if they want to stay in suffering, they have the choice, it's okay. It's not pleasant. It's not pleasant to be around them. And that's another thing that I, personally, and, it might sound like selfish. I'm not going around people that their energy is low. I'm staying away from that. Because
well, it's a decision as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not healthy for me. I don't want to be around, sick people. There's a lot of support groups for cancer patients and stuff. I'm staying out of that. I'm not sick. That's another understanding. I'm not sick. Sick is somebody who is in bed and can't function. I have a condition that I'm dealing with. I'm not sick. And I'm here to stay. As long as God allows me to stay, I'm here to stay and to thrive and to grow and to make my life even better. And I don't know what else is going to come, but I'm really excited. I'm really excited what else is possible, what else is going to come. Which conference am I going to go next? Who is going to interview me? What programs am I going to offer? There's a lot of, who is my next client going to be? And now it's like the fall season. I already started changing the flowers in the garden to the winter annuals, and it's like, how is it going to look? And I'm redesigning some beds and, waiting for some citrus fruits to ripen on the trees. That's the life I want. And that's what I want for everyone.
Wow. Yeah. I don't want to say anything more. I think it's such a great way to stop. And so just thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you here, and I really hope people see what's possible. You are so a wonderful, unbelievable, wonderful example of what's possible. And I think everyone can learn from you. And I hope we do. And I really hope we do.
Thank you for allowing it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No. This, I wanted to give you some hearts. And when people want to contact you, I'll add the information where they can find you. Okay, so thank you.